Mark, I know punk bitch, Breland, has finally opened up his damn mouth. Ain't that something? I ain't got to tell you guys, I'm the one that's late to the party. You guys know what's going on. I'm just now peeking my head out and actually even getting wind of this shit. Because like I told you, I need a break from you knuckleheads. But anyways, you guys want to know my thoughts on a lot of this shit. And like I said, I'm behind on this shit. So I'm just going to piece this thing one thing at a time. And I'm going to inch it along till, you know what I'm saying, we all caught up. The first thing I'm going to start with is talk about what Mark Breland wrote on Instagram. I know about the podcast and all that other shit. Like I said, I'm going to have to piece that shit together as we go. So I'm just dealing with what he wrote on Instagram. And a few things that I want to key in on is the fact that Mark Breland said that he hasn't talked to Deontay Wilder alone in years and almost never. He said everything that he wanted Deontay Wilder to do, he had to run it through JD's. Okay. He said JD's brought him in because he had a prospect that he needed him to train. The first thing that you notice in reading what Mark Breland has wrote is that JD's is not no fucking trainer. And it's not hard to tell. The only thing you got to do is look at the boxer voice and see what the fuck JD's is doing. And he looked like a out of sync clown. You know, I've been saying this about JD's. What the fuck is JD's there for? The fuck is he there for? JD's is absolutely good for nothing. But why you fronting like a trainer when you not? You know, that's one of the side notes. The other thing is he talked about how Deontay Wilder is known to speak to people very rude and very disrespectful, and how basically he had to walk on eggshells in order not to get fired. So this is actually a result of letting the wrong thing happen for too long. See, when I read this, the way Mark Breland got treated, he got treated that way because he's been tolerating shit like this entire time. That's why he's been treated like that. Okay? So the treatment that Mark Breland got is actually Mark Breland's fault, because you should never let it carry on and have nobody treat you or mistreat you like that. Because when it's time for you to have some basic respect, you ain't got none, because you've been shoveling shit all these years and all of a sudden you got a backbone, you want some pride, you want some respect. No. So I understand that. At the end of the day, people only treat you how you allow them to treat you. That's just how it is at the end of the day. The point is, you should have stood up and asserted yourself a long time ago. And when it comes to things like this, you wouldn't be treated like that, because people will instantly know that you're not one to be trifled with, or this is just an area that you're not going to be able to roll over on Mark Breland on. He's going to stand on this. If you never show you got a backbone, if you never stand up for nothing, if you never, then people are going to treat you how they want, because they know they got you in a desperate situation, because obviously they seen you walk on eggshells just due to the fact to having a job. This is why my parents have always told me to keep a fuck you account. Okay. Most people who's up on game in life already know what a fuck you account is. For those that don't know, that means you always have some spare money laying around in case somebody thinks they can mistreat you because you need a paycheck. You always need to have a fuck you account. Okay. Obviously, Mark Breland didn't have that shit. Okay. Because I don't get why you would waste so much of your time, because you could buy a lot of things in this world. Time is something that you can't get back. Okay. Why would you waste your time and your life force on somebody who didn't learn shit? You could have been established in your else with some other prospects and getting more clients and getting more money and not be dependent on the Deontay Wilder eating cart. Very simple. But I could tell Mark Breland has been taking it in the ass over there. Mark Breland is too meek. He is too quiet. So therefore you got treated how you were treated. Okay. Now, when it comes to Deontay Wilder's training, they say this dude don't run. He don't want to hit a fucking heavy bag, and he don't want to fucking jump rope. Could this have anything to do with people have always said that this dude ain't got no skill? Dude, you know what I've now realized? It's not that Deontay Wilder ain't got no skill. He don't respect the sport enough to practice the fucking basics in order to be a decent fucking boxer. He's a great puncher. The only thing he had to do was be a decent boxer, and that would have made him into a halfway great boxer just based off the power. All he need to do is have a little bit of skill with that power, and he's working with something. He's never even had to work that hard. Even by his own admission, he has never worked that hard. So what does that say? You're talking about somebody who doesn't really care or respect the fucking sport. He doesn't. He's obviously never felt the fucking threat. I've never known any guy that I've worked out with, that I've trained with, you know what I'm saying, that I've trained, that go lackadaisical on their training when they're facing a threat. I don't know nobody that. Everybody runs faster, runs longer. They got more endurance. They be damn near finna pass out. You know, because they finna show how determined. Hold on, I got to get these kids. They shoveling my snow. Give me a minute. All right, sorry about that. My bad. So, basically, in a nutshell, what it tells me is Deontay Wilder was always trying to do the bare minimum. People over there in Wilder's camp, you guys was also trying to do the bare minimum. This was just an easy paycheck for the most part. That's why y'all treated him like you did. Deontay Wilder didn't need to disrespect Mark Breland for him to come out and say that his resume is trash. You knew his resume was trash was before then. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody needs you to come out and say that now. But the way Mark Breland has been treated is simply because of how he allowed himself to be treated. You know, getting kicked outside of the locker room, crying and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? If he wasn't there to be so submissive and, you know, just take whatever Wilder got from him, there's no way if you kick me out of the locker room, I'm going to be on the outside fucking crying. I'm going to fucking leave. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to stay here. I do not got to stay here. You kick me out of the locker room, I'm gone. I'm going back to my hotel. I'm good. You know, but Mark Breland was more intertwined and attached to that camp and attached to Deontay Wilder than what he's actually saying. Because I don't know why he would waste his talent like that with somebody like Deontay Wilder, who's basically never respected you, never did anything for you. If anything, when you look back and somebody looks to get trained, they're like, okay, well, who did you train? I trained Deontay Wilder. Oh, I'll pass. That's what you did to yourself. So if you had these superior skills, these great skills and all this other stuff, you should have had that been utilized by somebody else who actually could have benefited, you know, from your from your knowledge. But from what I'm getting, from what Mark Breland wrote, that simply happened to him because he allowed it to happen. This is why I never make any mistake about anything that anybody ever say and done. You know, I jump out in front of it. So you know from Jump Street, it's going to be a problem with me. I'm going to let you know from day one, I got a problem with it and I got a problem with you. I'm never going to get used to being disrespectful, being slick to the tongue, saying shit behind your back, you know what I'm saying, and all the other shit. I'm going to come see your ass directly. So you know when it deals with me, number one, you got a fucking fight on your hands and it ain't going to be fucking easy. You know what I'm saying? And he's obviously somebody's going to swipe back. You have to set that standard for yourself, not just in life, not just in the fighting world, but in the office world, in the arena, in sports, in anything that you do. You know what I'm saying? You have to assert yourself and say, I command this kind of respect. You can't demand that kind of respect at the end after they've been disrespecting you all this time. That's just my thoughts on this little segment of what he was talking about. I'll be back to talk about more of what he said. Who's Van? I'm out.